Hello and welcome back, everybody. This is episode 8 of the ACB sessions, and we're just gonna take it easy today. We're gonna talk about some stuff, just get it out of our minds into this recording. How are you doing today?
All right. Meh, it's a bit warm.
It's gone up again, hasn't it?
It has.
Recently,
It's going to be like I think it was 32 at like 11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah,
which
I
is
don't know what that's all about.
far too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tad warm. Yeah, doing all right. Trying to be productive. I asked you for a pep talk message this morning, which you totally delivered on. Like I said to you a minute ago, I just need to re-listen to it like 1,000 times and just have that as my mantra. I'm pretty sure you ended it with like "Let's go, motherfucker" or something like that.
I think that in that context, using mofo, motherfucker,
Yeah,
it's very
gets you
pep
pumped.
talky.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on, motherfucker, let's go.
Yeah, let's
You
do
know?
this.
Just
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
you
for
wanna
sure.
get up and do shit.
It makes me think of "Killing in the Name of." That's kind of my get pumped song, my get psyched.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's like, "You motherfuckers,"
Motherfucker.
you know. And there is, do you know what, that song definitely like inspires me to, especially that end bit where they just build up, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," and to, like the need to want to say that to the world in a way, to be in a way like the good ego, even just to be like, you know what, fuck this, fuck the feelings, fuck what people think of me, fuck past me, future me, all the anxiety, worry, all of that shit, just fuck you. I won't do what you tell me, to my ego even, because I'm just going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
End of story.
I say that specifically to the version of me that wants to just mope around and be like, feel sorry for myself. I was like, you know what? Fuck you for making me feel like that. I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to get up and get shit done, and I don't care what the fuck you think, because I'm doing it.
There's a film we should watch together called Revolver by Guy Ritchie. I think it's about 2007, something like that. And they're like playing this chess game basically, but it's not only a physical, but it's a metaphor for the game you play with yourself basically in your head.
Okay.
And at towards the end of it, this guy's really struggling with all the talk in his head, and he's there, and funnily enough, it's played by Jason Statham, and his name is Jake, and so I would repeat this kind of script, and it was like he's real scared, and he's in this room, and this camera's just real close, and he's just going like, "Oh fuck, you're gonna die, Jake. You're gonna fucking, like, this is not gonna happen, Jake. Oh, what happens?" And all these voices and chatter, and then he finds peace for a second. He goes, "I can hear you," and the ego goes, "What?" He goes, "No, I can hear you." It's like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "I don't need you. I don't need none of that." He goes, "No, I am you." He goes, "No, you ain't. You ain't me." And then he like breaks this thing in his head open, and has this whole internal battle which you see play out on screen. I thought it was a really interesting representation to see an ego death in that way. Yeah, that would be a good one to watch for sure. It's a bit of a mindfuck.
Yeah, no, but I don't mind those kinds of movies. I quite enjoy them where you see that sort of character development, and I think in real life it that can definitely happen where you're maybe in a quite difficult situation, or sometimes even like a survival situation. So I'm specifically thinking of like Wim Hof, the Iceman. So he kills his ego, and essentially he says he's cured his depression, but I believe depression is something that you have to fight every day, or at least learn to live with, and by putting himself in basically a survival situation, by putting himself in frozen cold water, where the only thing he can think about is, I need to survive this. Nothing else matters right now. The only thing that matters is my survival. So every other worry, anxiety, whatever, just flies out the window because it's not relevant. and I quite like that. I quite like that.
It forces you to
Um,
be present, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. And every when we become stagnant, or when we just in the same place for too long, then we start focusing on all these different anxieties and making
Mm.
some up, and thinking about the past, and worrying about the future and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
But if you keep moving, and if you keep putting yourself in deep waters, in situations where all you can think about is shit, how am I going to get out of this one, then I think in a weird kind of way it does help. I don't know if that makes sense.
hmm It also helps to sometimes for me to look back in a way. Not that I mean, I want to be present as much as possible, um, but looking back in that, despite the odds, I'm still here some fucking
Mm.
how, which
Mhm.
means that I, not entirely, but we still won each round to
Mm.
still be ticking along, um, which is kind of mad.
Yeah, I've been. I mean, I'm on a sort of more personal level, I guess. I've been dealing with a lot of health anxiety. That's kind of my main concern at the moment. Over the past year, I've been dealing with like anxiety attacks, and my sort of thinking when that happens is, thinking of the worst, that I'm not going to be around anymore. When in reality, it's just my body just trying to protect me, and making my adrenaline just pump up. Um, so it it's easy to get really, really focused on that one issue and be like, okay, when's the next panic attack gonna happen? Or when is the next
Schedule it
thing?
in for 5 o'clock on a Thursday. Lovely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, in a way, I think you can only joke about it. You can only laugh about it. It is quite terrifying, but it's if I only focus on that, then in a weird way, more panic attacks will come because of it. So it's
Yeah.
just this feedback loop of just
Where
shit.
where focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you're aiming at the wrong thing, you're just gonna, double down on that feeling as well.
Mm. Mm.
Which is the same as misery loves company. Is basically what it is, right?
Even though I am experiencing issues related to that, I feel like I'm dealing a lot better with just like the fallout in general. So, let's say a year ago, when I had my first couple of panic attacks, it would take me weeks to recover. But then, like, I had one the other day, it just hit me out of the blue, and the day after, I felt fine again. So, even just that progression showed to me that I am progressing. I have made a whole bunch of effort to work on myself mentally and physically, to the point where, yes, I'm still struggling with it, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was a year ago, and that's a huge win. So I guess I just wanted to celebrate that as well.
You should, and I think you can celebrate it every day. Um, it is a big win because, like, overcoming that mental battle, and it is true when you have lots of adverse things happen in our lives, but you're the only one that's with you for your whole experience, and like kind of fighting with yourself. It's difficult because you want to get along and be in harmony with yourself, so you can have as best experience possible. But that's not always something we're fortunate enough to have, or not all of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And something that I try and remember as often as possible is that to be truly balanced, you must have some imbalance to balance that balance with. Do you know what I mean?
Do you mean so that you know what balance looks like?
It's
Like, we need the rain to know that we enjoy the sunshine.
yeah,
that
kind
of
of
thing.
like that. If you think of like a yin yang,
Mm.
and if you search for the dark, you're going to find the light, and vice versa. It's just what happens, and for the equation of something to be balanced, then the balance itself must have an imbalance of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
which is in the way of you can play the safe route, the safe hand all the time, and that's fine. But if you took some risks, yes, it is a risk, but that could, progress you further. So it's the necessary risk, and sometimes the greatest risk is to not take one at all. And that is usually what makes people really unhappy, is that
saying I wish I had done that.
Yeah, or when I have X, or whatever it be, and balancing that with being present, and also for me trying to be like in the remembering self, in that having foresight to go, what do I wish, if I was looking back on my life, what do I wish I'd have done? You could do like the main character of a movie perspective thing, where you're like, if you're watching a film, and if you're the main character of the film, what would the audience be shouting at the screen for you to do right now with your life?
That's cool. I
and
like
do that.
Because in a sense, you are also that audience inside your head.
Right.
You're also shouting at yourself, but then depending on who you are, some people have more of a wall between the audience you versus the actual you, the main character you.
Right.
And some people don't have that wall, and they just do whatever the audience says.
And it's important to listen to both. And again with the not taking a risk kind of thing is what I think aligns with not making a decision. So if you make a decision and you're right, then great. If you make a decision and you're wrong, you're still better off by knowing that you tried the thing, rather than I wish I had, when I had the chance or the time or the energy or the health. Yeah, for sure. Which, sorry to keep rambling on, but it makes me also think about not just risks, but I guess it is a risk in a way, but things like happiness I sometimes struggle with, because I never want to celebrate too early. I'm like, well, when the hell do you celebrate then? Like when everything's happened perfectly, nothing will happen perfectly.
I think also you can narrow it down to celebrating with other people versus celebrating with yourself. So usually the sort of catastrophe or disaster happens of you celebrating too early is when you share it with other people a bit prematurely, and then maybe it doesn't happen or something.
Right.
But I think if you celebrate just within yourself, go, okay, it might not happen, but to me this is still a win, that it's going in the right direction. And you've not shared it with anybody yet, just with yourself, and then you can raise a glass of wine or whatever to yourself and just be like, yes, this is great, I love that, I've taken the steps that I wanted to bring me to the next point in my life, and if it doesn't work out, then fine.
Exactly.
And once you have something concrete, then you can share it with people.
Exactly. And this is exactly what I said to you about that situation that developed like the last week or two for me, in that I even waited to say anything to you before I thought, is this opportunity going to actually potentially blossom, or do I need to find out more if it's an opportunity or not? Am I being realistic, or am I putting eggs in one basket? Do you know what I mean?
But it's good to ask these questions.
Yeah.
It's definitely good to, because we don't want to just go in blindly and be naive,
Sure.
as much as we'd like to be, but also I think it's good to have a good handful of optimism, if I can phrase it like that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I guess this is the imbalance to the balance equation, is having enough of a realistic mindset to balance that really hopeful optimism, and vice versa. It needs to level each other out.
And I guess we could talk about this all day long, because it is subjective, like what is balanced and what is imbalanced. That's the thing. It's down to you
Sure.
to decide how you feel about it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so difficult for people to talk about it, because it's just based on your personal experience, which no one
Right.
else shares with you.
Right. There's no one size fits all.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I guess a bit of a segue. So I had a lot of training recently for my job, and we were challenging our own ethos, our own philosophy on teaching mainly, but also I guess in a sense just in life. So I had to really think about my teaching techniques and who I am as a person, what I want to achieve in the classroom, but also I guess outside of the classroom. And one of the main takeaways from that training is also there's not one size fits all for teaching methods.
Mm.
You have to be able to adapt and to be different and treat each student differently, because they have different needs and they are at different levels and they learn differently, and some are SEN, so that like special needs.
Yeah.
And no, that's not just students in a classroom, that's everybody that you meet. And then that adds another layer of subjectivity in terms of that balanced versus imbalanced thing. So
Yeah.
just trying to tie
Yeah.
that all together right now.
And it makes it complex, and like I try and in life make things as simple as possible. But if you really look under the hood of anything, everything is so complex. Just down to how even if it's how you intend for something to come across that you say, everyone is going to interpret it a little differently, because we're all going to project ourselves onto it and into it and fit our narrative to it, and
Exactly. Exactly.
And people are at different stages of their lives as well, because people learn things at different rates, which is why things like testing people for exams at school, for example, is a really poor way to get a fair assessment of what people are capable of, because you're like, not everyone
we
works like
actually sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm done.
I'm quite excited about this, as you can tell, because we actually talked about this in the training, is that those summative assessments, they're not necessarily for the students. They're there to show how well the system and the teachers have done to get the students to memorize or whatever it is on those tests. Whereas all the formative assessments we do, where you have students specifically in music learn different sections of songs or whatever, and then you can go over it and then have them play the song. That's the way to do it, not have them sit down at a desk and write down everything about music theory and stuff like that. That's just basically asking them to remember stuff, and a lot of kids learn differently. Some can memorize really, really well. Others, like myself, are horrible at remembering things and learn by having hands-on experience and making mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the summative assessments really just is for the system and not for the students, and that's one thing that kind of I didn't think about before, but after reflecting, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Because what are we trying to achieve here? We're trying to get people into a workforce. We're trying to get them ready to apply to jobs and get whatever job so they can help the economy. And it's not necessarily tailored specifically to each different person. But yeah, that's me going down a bit of a tangent, which is
I love the tangent. How are you enjoying the job though?
So far so good, I'd say. I mean, I've only done 2 months of it. There's been a steep learning curve where I've been I think as expected, I've been sort of put into the deep end, and just kind of, I've had a lot of support, which is nice. my managers have been great, and they've done observations and basically told me where I could improve. But at the end of the day, I've just been let in a I've been let to sort of teach the lessons on my own devices, and I have to say I'm quite impressed with myself. I didn't know I was capable of adapting that quickly. We were talking about adapting before, and in terms of each student learns differently, and I think I got given a really nice start because my patch is brand new. So I cover the crew area, and I started off with 5 schools, so that was barely like 57 students I think I started off with, which sounds like a lot,
but divided up, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So if you think about it, each band has a maximum of 9 students in it, and the most students I had in a band was 6, I think, so far. Yeah, 6. And I'd have 5 bands per school, but even most schools I didn't even have 5 bands. It was like 3 to 4. 4 was my max amount. So really not that much compared to other band coaches who have had like 400-500 students.
Damn.
So
yeah, it's quite a few.
It's quite a lot. And I am moving up to 7 schools now, so 2 new schools have joined in September, which will be nice to sort of, I mean, I've got that routine down now, I think, of like starting the new schools, getting the kids to understand all the IROC rules, and how they should behave in general. If the school has done a good job, then hopefully my job will be easier. Some schools are a little bit more relaxed, but as I learned in my training as well, is that in a weird kind of way, kids need rules to be better behaved, and because rules are imposed on them all the time. It starts at home, parents saying you can't do this, you can't do that, blah blah blah, and then in school, most schools will have certain guidelines as well that they have to follow, and then if we don't impose rules in our music classes, then they're just going to go absolutely mental, and it's just so they're just simple rules to follow, but it just makes everyone's life easier. But yeah, anyways,
I think those are you done what you were saying? Sorry.
I was just gonna keep rambling on, to be honest, but I don't know what about.
I was gonna say I think that rules and boundaries are actually kind of a safety, in that if a kid knows that even if they want to push your buttons, they've got a safe boundary to push up against, and then that's the line, and then they go, okay, cool, we know where we stand. We're going to try and push some buttons. We're going to try and push that a little bit, and then you're going to keep everyone grounded, which is really good, because to be in like a kind of a lawless state is going to be chaos.
It's not productive.
It's not, because
no learning can take place in a boundless state.
Right, and if you're not able to conduct yourself yet, because they're such little people, they've not learned it yet, and you see them teaching the other kids and the other people, and like even as adults we learn stuff from kids. Sometimes it's to let go as well, and to be a bit freer, and
just have fun,
have fun, because like you lose your sense of childlike, not just innocence but curiosity, I've found, which is why it's so important to teach kids music and creative arts and that sort of stuff, to have not just the skill but an outlet for creativity and thoughts and whatever it is, and like I don't know what it's like in the majority of schools that don't have places like IROC that go in. But I remember when I was at school, I went to the secondary school that I chose because it was a performing arts comprehensive school, and so it was music focused, and it was the only one in the area that did that. My cousins went there as well, and they also played music.
That's fantastic.
It,
I wish I had iRock or something similar when growing up.
but the thing is, with my school, the funding went out, and so the school became an academy, like most other schools, and the whole music programs stopped, which means that, say my cousin's year, for example, so he was like four school years ahead of me. They must have had, I don't know, probably close to a third of the people in their year group, which is say like 300 people, that played something. There was loads of people. In my year, I was one of 3 guitar players, and one of 2 that ever took it seriously. 3 people from, 30% to like 1%.
That's just atrocious, man. I think that music should be taken as seriously as maths and science and all that, because obviously maths and science are extremely important for life itself and figuring things out, and but we also need a creative outlet, which is art.
Wouldn't it make sense if they combined those subjects, which really they are? Everything is combined. If you were to teach kids about frequencies, if you're teaching the kids the EMS, the electromagnetic spectrum, in science, get them a guitar. Show how the string moves. You can see a literal vibration. That would actually be a great way to teach.
It would be so much more engaging, yeah.
Put it with maths. Teach kids, look, here's the ratios in maths. This also happens to equal how many beats and bars you play. It's like it's built in. And the other thing, kids learn about Pythagoras in maths, right? Yeah. Because they learn the Pythagoras theorem, which is fine. But what does a massive disservice to the man is that he was an amazing musician as well, and made a lot of what is now modern day music theory, and that just gets completely ignored.
Really?
And so
I didn't know that.
Music is maths. That is what it is. It's crotchets and quavers and quarters, halves, eighths, sixteenths, all of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a shame for me, and a massive missed opportunity for schools in general, which is why when I have my own little people, I would probably just choose to homeschool them, because schools will have an agenda, and they're told what they can and can't teach, what they can and can't say, and I would rather raise somebody to be free thinking, be able to figure things out for themselves, have practical life advice. Don't worry about the papers, don't worry about all of that, go on, travel and experience bits and bobs, and just real life things. And I'd love for all kids to be able to do that, but like I said, the agenda of the workforce in a way is to make people that can essentially slave away, which is something that I think needs to be broken, because maybe back in the Industrial Revolution, when we need lots of people to do lots of things, that makes sense. Obviously that was messed up in and of itself, because they didn't put kids in the schools, they just put them in the factories.
They yearn for the mines.
You know what I mean? Isn't it crazy?
Well, that's why I follow people like Simon Squibb, because he's good like that, because he wants to see change within the system. I think we need people who do challenge the status quo and think, hold on, something's not quite right here. Like, why are we doing this? Just questioning things. I think that's really positive way of going about
and
life.
Encouraging questioning things.
Yeah.
Which is bit of a tangent here, but relatable to me, is why I don't really subscribe to the whole religion idea. I don't really have a religion, because not being able to question something, even though I'm purely curious, I'm being told, no, you're not allowed to. It just is what it is. I'm like, right, okay. That's not an answer, and to say that Sorry.
It's not an answer that you're comfortable just living with.
Yeah. And when you, I mean, there will be a time from when we're little that we were just being, and then
Hmm.
shortly after, we become conscious, and we realize, oh, I'm thinking, I'm being, I'm like in control of whatever. I can make a decision.
Hmm.
Um, and I think instilling something like that early on, which is what you're doing with the teaching and how you do it, and hopefully how I do as well, and getting people to figure things out. A kid is going to be much better off if they can't figure something out, and instead of you fixing it for them, you go, well, how would you go about that? I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
sort of nudge them in the right
Yeah,
direction,
and
but you don't solve it for them.
let people figure things out. I mean,
Yeah.
for example, recently we've been gaming. We've been playing some Minecraft, right? And you very generously got the server and everything, the realm set up correctly. I had not a clue. You showed me a few things, all of you, and then I was like, right, just leave me to it. I'm gonna
Hmm.
mess some things up myself, learn
Yep.
some things the hard way, and now I'm fairly confident to be left on my own just a few weeks later. I know it's a game, but just the practice of making your own mistake, which is also why you can teach people to learn from your mistakes, and so they don't have to.
Hmm.
But that, just because you've heard something doesn't mean you know it. You can understand something and not know it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to have a lived experience. Just
Well.
like if I haven't experienced exactly what you've experienced, I couldn't exactly say I completely understand you, which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest fucking things that pisses me off when it's something you get, I don't know, a therapist or someone who's maybe listening to you about whatever, and you're trying to explain that, I don't know, I have this depressive feeling or da da da. Oh, I completely understand. No, you fucking don't,
Mm.
because it's different
You're not in my
per
body.
person. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And unless we were carbon copies, it would never be exactly the same.
Mm.
Okay, I'm done.
No, I like that. I like that. I like that. Um, our sort of approach in listening again is different from person to person, but I think in a way, if you show that you understand by either not saying that I completely understand, or just, I think for me the best thing I've been able to do is listen and then sort of try and understand by saying again what they said. So one person says, um, I don't feel like I'm being understood, or like someone is making the effort to try and understand me, and then I would try and think about that and be like, oh, okay, so this person isn't paying attention to you, or they're saying this thing and maybe that's making you feel like that. So that's kind of my way of thinking, of like responding, how to respond to that sort of thing. But I think as long as you're showing that you're capable of taking in that information, processing it, and then either saying it back to them in your own way, or just being silent and listening to them, depending on how they want you to react in that certain situation, that's going to make the other person feel very understood. And I think that's what helps build an emotional bond with someone, is when they do feel understood by you, and I think that's the most beautiful side of a relationship, is when someone makes the effort to try and understand somebody else's love language, in a sense. um,
Yeah, there's struggles too,
yeah.
and to be able to bring people good news and be able to
Mhm.
celebrate it with you, not be jealous or
Mhm.
envious or whatever, or even comparative. And comparison's the thief of joy. I love that saying,
It's true.
which is why it is. I mean, it's not to say don't have a benchmark, but going comparing absolutely everything to well, even anyone that isn't you, I think is kind of pointless. Comparing to your past self, that's probably a better
Mm.
place to measure if you're going to measure it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, like the measure of a person can be measured by those who measure themselves by you.
Mm.
So, if I hold you as a benchmark, what does that say about me? If you hold me as a benchmark, what does that say about you? And vice, you know what I mean? And who you're surrounded with does reflect on you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who you allow to be with you, not just because you've known someone for so long, or because they're family, or because whatever.
Mm.
It's like,
You're allowing that person to be in your space
yeah,
in every sense of the word. Should we talk about what our plan is for the next month, in terms of health, nutrition, maybe some specific things you had in mind? Um, like I can get started off if you don't mind.
yeah, please do.
So I'm on holiday, which is a lot of fun for me, but
He means holiday
I
from work, not going on a holiday.
yeah, holiday from work. I am
It's the
on
summer
holiday.
holidays from school.
Yeah, yeah, which is a new thing for me. I've never been on school holidays since actually being on summer holidays with school. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I am on holidays, which is great because it means I can chill out for a bit. But also I have some things that I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
One thing being that I'm looking for a flat to move out, which is, if you remember, something I wanted to do in April this year. So, yeah, it's taken me a minute to adjust to things, but I think this is the right time now. I think any time before now, it would have been rushed and just coinciding with too many other things, and I would have been too overwhelmed and just wouldn't have gone
Yeah,
well.
totally.
So I think now I've got a system in place, things are happening for me. I think now is the right time to move into my own place and start developing my own systems in my new place. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've seen some good options for flats, but nothing has convinced me massively yet. So I'm gonna keep looking. So that's my mission for this next month,
Sweet
the main
as.
one at least, and then a couple of smaller things here and there that need to be sorted out. I've got some tax stuff to do, which is always fun, and I want to buy some drum related stuff and just start working towards a studio for my new flat as well. So I'm looking specifically for a flat that has not only a bedroom but a second room where I can have a studio in it too. So yeah, loads to think about,
So
loads
exciting.
of research, but mostly really excited about this sort of next month and
You've been very
seeing
patient,
what happens.
you know.
Yeah, I know. It's taken a minute to get to this point. If you look back at all the other episodes, there's always something else to do. Even though this was kind of my main goal, to try and become fully independent from my family and just be my own person. I'm making my own money now, which is
You're not making somebody
fantastic.
else's money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a decent paycheck, which I'm really glad about. And I'm about to embark into a new journey, living by myself and being an adult, that's a win. That's what I wanted to achieve all along this year. There's really exciting stuff happening with my company Envision as well. So we are releasing, and I can officially say this, we're releasing our first official song on the 28th of August, and it's already been played on BBC Introducing, which I'm really happy about. We'll be posting a reaction video of that of when Ollie and myself heard it on the radio. We sat together in a video call like this, and just raw reaction, like raw, pure, authentic reaction to that. We were both very giddy, which was nice.
Oh mate, I was so happy. I was listening along as well, as you know, because I recorded my reaction and sent it to you. But I was just like, oh, it's my boy on the radio. So cool, so bloody cool.
So that's really exciting, and we hope it's going to lead to some new projects. And we've got so much more exciting things down the line as well this year, and we're hoping to break through the market next year. So again, being really patient with that, but I think that's the way to do it, to just work really hard, silently, sort of in the background, and when everything's ready, you just start getting it all out there and getting your name known, and just being consistent, and being consistently really high quality as well.
Yeah, it's the if you're going to cut down a tree and you got 9 hours, you spend the first 6 hours sharpening the axe.
You're full of good phrases, you are.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Actually, yesterday I started properly tracking my calories again. That's something I've not done for a while. Again, for different reasons. One being my health, anxiety reasons. Another one being that it's really difficult to actually get to the amount of calories that I want to eat living here, because different variables, which is another reason why I'm excited to move to my own place, because it just means I have my own system. I can easily meal prep, and the fridge I'll have is just for me alone. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I don't know, it would just be nice to have my own space in general. But I'm consistently going to the gym 3 times a week. I've not for the past 2 weeks, but that's because I've been away for work reasons, either training or like a company conference, stuff like that. I did manage to go to the gym once or twice in the meantime, but now I'm back home again. I'm on holiday. I can go more than 3 times a week, which is nice. So with the gym, it's been difficult to go the past 2 weeks because of work-related stuff. But I've now, with this new free time in my holiday, I'm capable of going more than 3 times a week. So that'll be nice to just get that on track again properly, and then I can cut it back down when I start working again to 3 times a week. But it'll be nice to be really consistent with that and feel the progress and see the progress, not only physically on myself, but also in being able to do the exercises more. And I think that's the greatest feeling in the gym, is when you, say with like pull-ups or something, if 1 week you're really struggling to get past 5 pull-ups or whatever, and then the next week you get to like 7, just to see that progress is just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, love that for you.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple of things to be excited about, a couple of things to work on and work hard on.
So this coming month, there's lots that I not only want to do but have to do, which is I need to make some money. Because I've had a couple of like jobs, but they've not been like massively well paying. It's not like repeat clients, because if someone wants some music creating, it's usually a one-time thing. They don't need more than one. It's not like I'm doing feature-length films or anything just yet. That would be really cool to do. Yeah, so I'm just gonna try and find whatever I've been applying to, bits and bobs. Just gonna keep chugging along with the other stuff. Hopefully Dad's got some work for me that I can do in a few weeks' time, so that'll be good to get some dosh. I have, what else? Health-wise, I smashed through my target, so that was good. by a few kilos actually.
Yeah, man.
So now
Definitely celebrated that when I come down on the 30th.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That'd be fun. Yeah. So and then so I set a new target, and just got to keep working towards that basically, and keep eating good. But if I'm being like super honest, the money's actually running really freaking low that I don't want to buy as much food as that I was buying.
Sure, yeah.
Which kind of sounds ridiculous and looks ridiculous, because when I look around me and I have all this lovely gear to use and expensive stuff, and now I'm considering buying less food because I don't have the funds for it. It kind of feels ridiculous, and a little bit demoralizing.
Yeah, of course.
But especially if I wasn't doing if I wasn't like fucking working on stuff all the time, then I'd go, yeah, it's your fault. But when you are doing stuff, but things just aren't coming through for you, that's frustrating. So, and like people have said I can lean on them and whatever. I don't want to.
No, it doesn't feel great, does it?
Doesn't feel great, and I wouldn't want to feel like the need to owe anyone anything. I don't want to be that, but there is obviously part of you that sometimes need to ask for help with certain things. There is a taboo when it comes to money and finances, though, I think, because it's not just someone's giving you some of their time to listen or whatever. It's like the time they've used to earn what they've earned. And when I think of it like that, I'm like, it feels like it implies that I haven't been working hard, even though I have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But I think that if I'm putting myself in their shoes, it's that they are choosing to help you out, even though they know that they've put their time and effort to get that money for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest forms of love that you can have, is that you're willing to share something with someone, even though you know that it's your hard work and your efforts that have gone into that. But for me, that sometimes is sweeter than actually spending money on myself.
Oh, sure. Which is why we like gift giving and that sort of stuff. Yeah, strange one. So I'm just gonna continue working on a game plan to try and get all that shit sorted out.
So would you say that's your main sort of target for this month, getting a game plan down?
Well, no, not that game plan. I need to do yesterday. I need to do that. That's what I'm doing as soon as we're done. This is what I'm going to be doing. Is getting on that. I try and do like a backwards plan. So I'm like, I want to get here. What's the steps I need to do before to get that, and then break it down into like a smaller MVP as possible. Minimum viable product, by the way, for those audience members out there. So it's
business
like
talk.
Yeah, business talk. So it's like the smallest version of that success of that thing. You know, if you want to get to doing 10 press-ups, can you do one? If you can't do one on the knees. Build it up like that. Same as with exercise with you.
Just the simplest form of regression.
Yes, simple form of regression, I guess. And just the incremental success that just adds on to that each time you do the practice or whatever it is. Yeah. I need to sort my sleep out again. It was good for a little bit. I've had a few distractions lately, but I think I'll calm those down a little. It's been a little difficult falling asleep, and that I've realised recently. Anxiety's been a bit like right there. It just calls upon me, and I think about all the shit that I did wrong, or I said this thing once, or such and such thinks whatever, or I was like, why the fuck did I say that? Why did I do that?
Mm.
All of that, and then I have to like get myself to shut the fuck up. I started counting back from 10,000 to fall asleep recently.
Did it work?
Yeah, I
Oh
usually
wow.
get to like 800 and something.
Wait, from 10,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the thing was, I started doing it from 1,000, and I was like, then I started actually trying to do it. Like, and I was staying up to do it, and I was like, fuck, I can fucking do that. And I was like, no, we need to add a zero onto this, so I made it 10,000. And yeah, that's kind of helpful, but my brain still kind of wanders and does all its thing.
Mm.
I do envy people that can fall asleep straight away, like my dad can fall asleep like that anywhere. He did. I remember once he'd like watched this horrendous horror. I think he like fell asleep like a baby after watching The Human Centipede, and I was like, "What the? Do you know what I mean?"
Like, what is
I
wrong
didn't
with
watch
you?
it. I didn't watch it. Yeah. His brain is fascinating that he can just like conk out anywhere, and I'd love to be able to do that. But
People who genuinely enjoy horror movies fascinate me.
yeah, and roller coasters.
Oh, I like roller coasters.
Nah, makes me feel sick.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that. I'm picking up some new guitar skills, which I'm really loving. Learning some
So
more.
am I.
Oh yeah, you are. You're doing really well. I've been teaching Alex for a few weeks now. Some skills he's doing really, really well, and yeah, I'm proud of him.
I've got a great teacher.
Oh, thank you, mate. That's another thing. I actually set up my online tutoring profile again after a long time.
Cool.
So I thought that could be a good bit of income. I do like teaching people. I love talking with people. Hopefully, I'm enough of a people person.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, another thing is I have my driving test on the 30th of October,
Mm-hmm.
and so I need to be ready for then. I think I'll probably be all right. I mean, it's a month and 3/4 away. Would it be today? Something like that. But I actually need to earn money to afford to do the test, or to do a few lessons before the test, and then hopefully, Christ knows, get a car. But I think I really need to like compartmentalize everything. And I don't know about you, but because I so often think about how much time is running out and how little time we have to play with. I'm like, right, I want to get all stuff done. But I think I just need to focus on maybe a small handful of things and be like, right, let's just progress this for now.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the focus for the next few months, and try and bring myself back on track whenever I go astray, because inevitably we will. And just get that driving done and out of the way.
And you don't necessarily need to buy a car straight away
No.
after getting the license. It's not like you need to just buy a car for the sake of getting a car. But
Exactly.
you know, a license you've got for life. You know, so
Sure.
you can. That's the important bit, really.
So that's what I want to have done. I think I'm also a bit nervous about it because I did fail it twice before, but that was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I will be a more confident driver just once I've done it more, but it's just like the lack of experience, basically. I mean, the lessons are fine, but you know, when you go from that to then you drive on your own and yeah, so I'll get it done. But yeah, and there's lots of things that need paying for. I mean, I want to be able to keep affording to eat well enough, and not have to stress about it, because I think that gives me a lot of the anxiety, because it's like then you stress about, am I not doing enough? Am I going to get this whatever in? Can I afford to do this thing? Or can I afford to do this thing that I've already half paid for? You know? And, you know, I want to get people some nice birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and all of that, and everything costs. So, yeah.
Just focus on one thing at a time.
But like I said, it just made me feel frustrated, because it makes me feel like I've not been working on things, and unfortunately the things that I've been doing haven't happened to either pay very well or at all.
Yeah, of course. That's really frustrating.
Yeah. So that's my bit of imbalance that needs balancing, I think.
Hmm. I think you're taking the right steps. I think that within the next month you'll see some sort of development.
Hope so.
And yeah, no, I know so. I think that you're doing everything you can to make it happen. And I guess if I'm comparing it to my own experience, I mean, it took me 3 months to get a job, and a lot of that was down to just not picking the first job that came my way, just for the sake of getting money. But also sometimes to be able to pursue your dream, the best thing you can do is maybe get a job that will get you money, but that doesn't eat up all of your time.
And
So that
energy.
you can, yeah, and energy, so that you can then pursue your dream of whatever you want to do.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you for the next session, which is month number 9 somehow, which is crazy that we're pretty much 3/4 through the year. And
Yeah.
I don't know, Christmas does feel like it was kind of 5 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure we only just really recovered from New Year's.
Yeah.
But what the hell, here we
No
are.
idea how that happened, but
All the
here we
gear,
are again.
no idea. Okay, mate. Well, thanks for doing this today. It's been fun.
Yeah, man. Every time, it's always a pleasure, my dude.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.